the one thing that brought me to make this channel was how upset I was, how viscerally depressed I was even in my normal day-to-day life after suffering through week to week of watching The Acolyte. The show had a profound impact on me, and today I bring you wonderful and exciting news. The Acolyte has been canceled for season 2. Star Wars The Acolyte has ended. Hello, my friends, and welcome to The Pondering. I am the real-life fake wizard. If this video brings you any value at all, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, where we are making new videos nearly every day. I have said before, I have no interest in talking about The Acolyte anymore because I hated this show, just as many Star Wars fans did as well. But today we have wonderful news. From Deadline, Star Wars The Acolyte canceled. No season 2 for Disney Plus's Star Wars series. Who would have thunk that it would be canceled? It was such an overwhelming hit, right? Twitter bots, shills, shippers, and anime profile picture users. Isn't that right? Isn't Acolyte such a renowned success and people just are fawning over it? No, The Acolyte has only ever been a colossal failure and a black eye on Star Wars. Exclusive, the story of The Acolyte will not continue, with Lucasfilm opting not to proceed with a second season of the Star Wars offshoot starring Amanda Stenberg, sources tell Deadline. Word of the decision comes more than a month after the 8-episode first season of the series from creator, director, and executive producer and showrunner Leslye Headland, spelled her name wrong, Leslye Headland wrapped its run on Disney Plus. Holy shit. A couple things to go over here. Firstly, the celebration that The Acolyte will not be continuing to move forward. That means people like Leslye Headland and the team surrounding her, hopefully, will no longer be able to bastardize Star Wars any longer. Not that there's much left to bastardize at this point. Earlier, we went through the Nielsen ratings on The Acolyte, and the show ended 41% below Ahsoka, which also didn't do that great, and 50% below Andor, which also didn't do that great. You know, when we look at the numbers and the analytics for Star Wars shows, progressively, anything that is not Mandalorian is not performing very well. Mandalorian does well enough to continue getting content. They got seasons 1 and 2, which did well. Season 3 did well enough to quantify doing a Mandalorian and Grogu film. Okay, fine. But Book of Boba Fett didn't do well enough for a season 2. Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't do well enough for a season 2. Somehow Ahsoka is going to continue, but that's only because that was predetermined to be a setup for more movies and shows moving forward. However, that didn't do very well. Andor as well was predetermined to be 2 full complete seasons, even though Andor didn't do very well. The problem is that if you look close, there's a decline happening to the Star Wars shows that they keep putting out. Even the normies just don't care about Star Wars anymore. So what you have here is a very convoluted target market. Originally, Star Wars fans were diehard nerds, right? They were the ones that would buy everything and everything, all of the toys, all of the video games, all of the collectibles. They would spend copious amounts of money buying this stuff. But we've seen over time that Lucasfilm doesn't like the regular nerds. They've been trying to get into different target markets and create their own target market inside Star Wars, but those people don't buy Star Wars. And very quickly, that eroded the loyalty of the original fan base that spends a ton of money. Lucasfilm made their loyal fan base apathetic to Star Wars. Now, this has been going on for nearly a decade, going all the way back to The Force Awakens. Fast forward to now, and we get the result, the fruits of their labors. The Acolyte cancellation is a massive black eye to Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. I'm not very interested in getting into the whole Kathleen Kennedy is the boogeyman. Like, I'm not interested in that, right? But the woman is looking to retire and allegedly wants to go out on a win. This ain't a win. The Acolyte was despised by the handful of people that watched it. Normies did not tune in for it, and the people that did tune in for it, well, I don't believe the bots on Twitter are people watching the show. I believe there was just enough hate watching to quantify enough people to talk about it on Twitter. Normies did not tune in for The Acolyte, and they didn't even really tune in for Ahsoka either. And the reason that this is such a black eye is because the next piece of Star Wars content we're getting is Skeleton Crew. Now, Skeleton Crew we know very little about. However, it's a new IP into the Star Wars IP, meaning we don't know anything about it. You know, even before Boba Fett, even normies know Boba Fett. Obi-Wan Kenobi, even normies know Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not even a lot of people watch those shows. Skeleton Crew, allegedly, Lucasfilm doesn't feel comfortable about. So what kind of an omen is that for this show, Skeleton Crew, if the Acolyte got canceled so quickly and so easily? You know, I really didn't expect Disney to announce that the Acolyte was canceled. I would have expected them to say it was shelved, or we're waiting for creative ideas, or what. Make up some lie, make up some excuse, as Lucasfilm tends to do very regularly. Rian Johnson was supposed to get a trilogy. Taika Waititi was supposed to get a movie. Patty Jenkins was supposed to get a movie. The doofuses from Game of Thrones were supposed to get a movie. All of these projects are happening at some point, maybe, right? You know, oh, we'll get in there. Well, no one buys it. They're canceled. You just don't want to admit that they're failed projects. Star Wars Eclipse got a nice cinematic. Hasn't gone anywhere. Knights of the Old Republic was supposed to get a remake. God knows if that's ever going to see the light of day. So it is very much a bad omen that they actually admitted that the Acolyte was a failure. And that is what this is. The admittance that the show has been canceled so soon after it has ended. The same day that the ratings became available proves that the show was an absolute embarrassment for Disney and Lucasfilm. In an environment where Disney spent $4 billion to acquire Star Wars over 10 years ago and hasn't produced an ROI on it, they're bleeding through the goodwill with the customers. With that decline I talked about earlier, how soon before Star Wars is just $1 million franchise when it used to be a $4 billion franchise? I tell you, my friends, today is a day for celebration. The Acolyte was a pile of shit, and everybody involved with that and signing off on it and making it happen should be embarrassed. Many of the people involved with this should never be able to touch an IP of that scale again. Leslye Headland said that she was inspired by stories with her sister, some nonsense that happened in her past as a kid. Look, you want to tell stories about your past? I'm all on board with you. Do that. Do indie projects. Do original ideas. Don't take something that's beloved by millions and millions and millions and millions of people all around the world that has 50 years of legacy history and inject your beliefs into it when there's already a mythos there. There's already a belief system built into this franchise with 50 years of experience. We don't need your shit because all of us got our own shit. My friends, we all see ourselves inside of the Star Wars characters. We all can empathize with them in their own ways. We see the flaws and the heroisms and the buildings of character inside the characters of Star Wars, right? We're able to personify with them. I don't know anyone who can connect with any of the characters from the Acolyte because all of them are shitty people. Everyone in the Acolyte is bad. There are no heroes, there are no villains, and that's a shame because Star Wars, the entire foundation of Star Wars is based in the idea of good conquering evil. But Leslye Headland wanted to say no, poo-poo to that idea, that everybody is ambiguous, everything is morally gray, and there is no light side, there is no dark side. It's just everybody out for their own selfish bullshit. Good riddance. My friends, thank you for joining me for this wonderful celebration at the death of the Acolyte. What a great, exciting day this is. I'm sure I have way more things to say. I may put out some more videos that are a little more structured, a little more scripted. This one really is just shooting from the hip. But thank you for joining me. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire. May the contrived thread of destiny be with you. And if you did like the video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing because we're going to keep making more content even though the Acolyte has ended. Okay, until next time, cancel Disney Plus. Now is the best time to do it. Tell them where to stick it. Bye-bye.